My name is Steve Newell. I'm from Cloud Consult, and thank you for joining today. We have a special guest, Hans Wilhelmsson, who is president and founder of simTree, and he's going to be showing us his workforce management solution. A very, very impressive platform, and we're very excited to have Hans join us today. And I'm going to go ahead and, as you see, simTree is a WFM by simulation, and he's going to go ahead and walk us through the platform. And I'm going to turn it over to you now, Hans.
Thank you, Steve. I will share my screen.
Mhm.
So I hope everyone sees my screen.
Yes, we
Uh,
do.
yeah. So simTree is a new application. It's been around. We started development 4 years ago, and it's been around on the market for almost 2 years. So although it is a young product, I have experience from teleanswering services and workforce management for 25 years, and the same goes for my partner Sebastian. So simTree, the sim stands for simplicity. So we wanted to make something really simple to use because we know that the bad side of workforce management is that they are very complicated to use in many cases. SIM also stands for simulation, so that is the mathematical methods we're using behind. I will not bother you so much about that, but we do use simulation for forecasting and for optimizing the schedule. So simTree is a completely web-based system, so the only thing you need is a URL, a password, and a username, and then you can sign in. So I will do that. And I will select my demo here. So this is the start screen, and from here you can choose one. Most of our customers have only one contact center, but you can have several sites inside the system if you like. And to start scheduling, you just click on one of these icons and you get into the schedule. Before we do that, however, I'm going to look into the forecast because that's in common for the three sites here. So the forecast is arranged by weekday. So you see one column per weekday, and you see the week number on the left side here. So the everything that is white is historic data, and everything that is forecast is the blue future data. And you can click on any of these days. In this case, September 5, which is a Tuesday, and you will have a graph of the number of calls for that particular day. If you control click another day, you can compare 2 days with each other like that. This goes with a call group selector or a skill selector. So in this case, I've selected all medical skills and 3 pizza skill and 1 other skill. And I can take away the pizza skills, and then you have only the call stats for the medicals. You can mark any day with a color. In this case, a midsummer day or a waste day or a Christmas day. So having a future Christmas day will pick its forecast from previous Christmases. And the same goes for midsummer days, which will take the forecast from historic data from previous summer days. You can also click here to make adjustments, and you can adjust the number of calls for any of the queues that day. You can also choose to compare with the forecast, and then you get the forecast and the number of actual calls beside each other like that. So there's not much more to it. This will run automatically in the background, as new data is pulled from the switch system. And there is nothing to save other than the picking another date type or making an adjustment here and there. So I could mention also the compare function. When I drag this to the right, some days light up in the color, and these are days with a bad forecast. So this is a tool to find and to verify your forecast. So these highlighted days are good candidates for making a special day or some kind of adjustment. So I will go back to the home screen, and we jump into Springfield. So in the schedule view, you see your agents, and you see some weekdays with dates, and you see a graph where the purple is the number of scheduled people, and the black is the target number of people you need. I will now go through how you make manual planning with the system, and after that we will look into a request and also to the mobile app that the agent can have to see the schedule. And after that we will look into the automatic planning and optimization. And finally we will also look at adherence reporting. So to make a manual planning, one thing you can do is just press Ctrl C for copy and select some other place and press Ctrl V, or you can simply take a shift and drag it to some other position like that. You can also select many at the same time and use Ctrl X for take away or Ctrl V to paste. So in order to make more detailed changes in the schedule, you activate the edit function, and then you see an exploded view of the shift below here. And here you can move the breaks as you like and change the shift length and so on. If you want to move the entire shift with the breaks, you just take the white rectangle and drag that away like that. You can also add a task like an admin, and then you have an admin task at the end here. You can drag that into the shift, and you can adjust the start time for the admin after that if you like. So if someone is sick, you press the sick button, and then you get an overlay activity of sickness, and you can change the length of that if the agent is sick as part of the day. You can also use the replacement finding function that will give you suggestions of agents that have the same set of skills as a sick agent, and you can pick one of them and apply to that. Another thing you can do is to copy the shift for the sick person and give them to one of the ghost agents. In this case, we have defined 4 ghost agents, and I will paste it to one of them. And after that, I can publish this shift. So any shift that you give to a ghost agent can be published, and agents can pick them up afterwards. If you want to schedule a meeting, you can select some agents for the meeting, and then in the edit, you can insert and pick a meeting. I don't have a meeting task yet, but we take an admin task for 1 hour between this start time and that end time, and press OK. And then you have a meeting at these times here. I'm just checking my list here. To make a vacation plan, we go to the date selector here, and we pick October. So October is completely blank. So in order to make a vacation plan, you just control click the dates and agents that are going to have vacation, and then you press the vacation key and you have the vacation plan like that. But vacation can also be initiated by the agent themselves by request, so we'll look into that shortly. So the date range control is very flexible. So you can pick just one day like that, or you can pick an entire week, this week, like that, or just a few days. So that's entirely up to you how you work with the date range control. So there is no planning periods or something like that. It's just pick your date range and start planning. If I make a change on this shift here and press save, I get a question if I want to notify these agents that has been changed. Apparently, I made a lot of changes here. And you can check mark the agents you'd like to notify, and you can notify either by email or by SMS to the agents. I won't do that now. So agent can make requests for time off, and I activate the request panel, and you see that on the side here. So when requests are coming in, you will see them on the list here, and you can, if you click on it, it will also highlight. I think I'm on the wrong week here. Oh, it's my scrolling, sorry. So when you click on the request, it's highlighted in the schedule, and you can approve the request, and you can take away the approval if you like, and you can reject the request. Sorry, I missed here. There you are. There is also possibility to check the question mark, and if you do that, the system will evaluate if this is a good request or not by doing a simulation. So we click and check that, and that was a good request. So it would the service level would be better if you approve this request than reject it. And we can check another one like this one. And that was not so good. Yeah. So I will now move over to the agent app so you can see how the agent can view the schedule. So I will log out. So my agent is called 4x's, and I will change to a mobile. So here we are. So the agent, they see their schedule one week at a time, and you can change week to the next week like that. If you click the shift, you see the details with breaks and lunch and break and so on. And you can also make different kind of requests. One is to change your work times. And the pre-selected is your current work time. And you can change that to maybe 8 o'clock and leave 1 hour later. You can also change the breaks because you might need to do that. So, and then you can send that away. And the agent will be notified when this request has been approved by the supervisor. The agent can also ask for a time off, number of days, and so on. And he can also call in sick from the app or change her availability in the app. You can set her availability and open the availability up so she's more available, and that is not subjected to any approval. That is just for the agent to do. The agent can also post her shift or part of her shift, and then this shift part is free to pick up for some other agent, and that is regarded as a trade and need to be approved by the supervisor in the end. Another way to trade is to use a trade function. That's here. So let's say I'd like to trade away my shift from the 20th. And then I can look for possible trades, and I will look for some. Maybe I like to trade with someone the 21st instead. Then I can pick one of the agents here and suggest a trade and also send away a message. And then this request will go to that agent that needs to approve. And then finally, it needs to be approved by the supervisor. In both cases, the agent can mark the request with a couple of stars and give a text message to go with it. It's also possible for the agent to see the team schedule. So that's here. And she sees the team schedule one day at a time, sorted by start time. And to see the details, she needs to click and look at the details and click back to see. If the agent turned the mobile in horizontal, she gets a complete view of the week schedule for the team, like that. So in the user section, you can select from dark view or light view to see this clock view as we looked at now. She can volunteer for SMS messages and some other things here. So I will log out and switch to my supervisor. And here we are. So here is the new request. It's just 3 minutes ago. And if I click on it, it will highlight. And I can test it again. Not so good, but we approve that anyhow. And then the shift is moved for 1 hour like that. So I mentioned the ghost agents before. Another way to use them is to, when you make your schedule and you can't really get it to meet with the target, you can add some work time on the ghost agents until you have a match with the target number of people. And after that, you can publish the ghost shifts for that reason instead for sick replacement. Okay, so now we are going to look at optimization and automatic planning. And to do that, we need to look into the employee module, because obviously we need some settings to make that work. So in the employee module, we have all information arranged in tabs. So there is one general tab with address, phone number, and that kind of thing. And also number of work hours agreed, number of days in a row, minimum night rest, and that kind of thing. You can also use tags, either to just color mark an agent, or to group agents into teams, or to group them into different kind of settings that are in common for them, break settings, for instance. In the skills matrix, you see the skills as columns and the agents in rows, and you just click on them here to add a skill to an agent. Some of our customers have a lot of skills and a lot of agents, and they can use copy and paste here to make things easier. Next is cyclic schedules. So anyone that has a definition of a cyclic schedule is marked with a little icon here, so you can easily see who has this setting or not. So we pick a person without the cyclic schedule and create a new one. And we add a task and we move that around. Here you can choose to have automatic breaks, or you can add the breaks yourself like that in the shift. Then you can copy this and paste it to the other weekdays like this. And now you have a cyclic schedule for one work week for this agent. If you want someone else to have exactly the same, you can just check mark some other agents. And when you save, you will save this for all 3 agents at the same time. Next is availability. And availability is a bit similar. You have, in this case, don't mind the Swedish weekdays here, and also the clock times. It will appear, it comes from the browser, so it will appear AM, PM, and Monday in English, and so on in your installation later on. To change availability, you just do like that, move like that. Actually, I can change the language setting here. I make a quick update of the system. So now we have AM, PM, and so on, so it's a bit more familiar for you, I think. To support a split shift, you can add a second part of the availability like that. And then you have a split shift, split availability for this agent. You can also drag the availability over the night, or you can even drag it between the, no, over the week limit here. If you want availability more than 1 week, you can just add weeks to the availability. So availability goes hand in hand with the shift definitions, which is in the last tab. So shift can be defined in different ways. It's the same here, that you have this little icon that indicates that you have a setting. When you select an agent that has the same setting as other agents, they will also highlight in a light color here. So you can see that some other people have the same setting here. So you can define as many possible shifts as you like. And if you look at Andrew, he has two possible shifts. One is just a fixed shift that is between 6 and noon. And that shift is only for Sunday and Saturday, while the weekdays have this shift here, which is a flexible shift. And that means that the planning or optimizer can choose any start time between 4:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. And the end time of the shift is also flexible, but you can change these flexibilities by dragging this. So let's say that you want exactly to start at 9 a.m., then you do like that. But if you want to have some flexibility, you can do like that. So you can gradually increase flexibility as your agent gets used to flexible work times. And obviously, of course, flexible shift makes the optimization easier, and the fulfillment of the target is generally better. So going back to the schedule, and we jump some time ahead here. So here is a blank week, and you can see the white areas is the available time, and the gray is restricted by the availability settings for some of the agents here. To run the planning, you just go to Tools, Planning, and Optimize Planning, and press OK. And now you can see this little progress bar while the process is running here. And here you are. Everyone has got their shifts and their work time. And you can see the match between the target and the number of people being scheduled here. So it's possible to evaluate this in terms of service level. So we can click on the service level here. And then you get the heat map indicating the service level throughout the period. And we will just focus on one day here to make it easier to see. So with the mouse over, you can see that the calculated service level is around, it fluctuates a bit quarter by quarter. You can see the total is 81% answered calls within 20 seconds, but it differs a bit from quarter to quarter. And this is not a report. This is a forecasted service level based on simulation. And during the simulation, we take the number of calls that has been forecasted and give them to the agent, and we see what happened just as in the real life in your. And we can do that before it happens, so that's nice. You can also expand more on service level here, and you can see the service level per queue during the day. And you have here some indicators with zero service level at some points here. You can also use the filter functionality and select one of the skills like Med 3. And then you see all agent that has skill Med 3 in the list here. And if you click apply to chart, you can see how many agents are scheduled with skill 3 throughout the day here. And if you want to compare that with Erlang for that skill, you can do that as well. So skill 3 is a very small skill, and Erlang is just on the bottom here. So you should be well covered on that skill. So I'll take away some things here. One thing that comes with the system is a user guide. And in the user guide, you can look for topics and you can also search, like target, for instance. You get target calculation. You can expand that. And here you get step-by-step procedure how you make your target. You can take any of these sections and pop it out, and you can have it open in the background or in the foreground while you do the step-by-step procedure, like that. There is also YouTube videos here. So in initial configuration, for instance, you have 2 training videos that you can click on, and you will take it, and it will take you to YouTube, and you can follow the instructions there. And all YouTube videos are collected in the last section here. So you can see there's quite a few of them here. I might have forgot something, but it's just one thing left, and that's the adherence part. And that's quite powerful. So we will go to a day in the 3 days in the past. And in the tools menu, I will activate adherence. Take them all like that. And then you get a lot of information beside the shift. And these are warnings, and they're also indicator of the login and in rotation times from the switch. So we can look at this day in particular. And since it's a past day, when we go to the edit, it will show you some other information than changing. You can change the schedule here as well, but normally it goes to the adherence. And here you can see the agent login times to the switch. And since this was, and you can also see the match between the login time and the schedule. And here you can see with the warning here that this agent was 36 minutes late. And therefore there is a warning on that. There is also a warning on that the break was 5 minutes off, and the break was too long, 5 minutes too long. Now, maybe this agent was excused for the late arrival. Then you can click here, and then you make an adjustment of the log time, and it's set to the schedule time. And if you like, you can click Use Schedule for the entire shift, and then all log times are adjusted to the schedule, and there is no warnings left for this agent. Now, this information can then be reported and transferred to the payroll system, and you can base the payroll on the log times if you like. You can also switch to in rotation times, and then you can see the match of the in rotation time. This is my test data, so it's obviously not so realistic, but you will see your in rotation time and match them with the breaks and so on here. So I will take a quick tour on the settings because I think we have some time left. So
Yeah, and Hans, this is great. This is just fantastic. I've seen this a couple times. It's very, very impressive, especially the mobile app. And also, if you could spend a moment talking about what the installation looks like, what the integrations look like, as far as the typical legacy platforms, and what your experience there is, what someone can expect for as an installation process to get all this set up.
yes, about integration, we prefer to use APIs, and we have open APIs for sending data to simTree, and that's been used by some of the vendors. In some cases, we use instead a small console program that is installed at the site of the customer that picks data and send it to the simTree API. There is also options to import stats from files. That is perhaps not so the best solution, but it's very easy to do. And you can import both calls and agent events. And you just click here and you choose some files from your system, and then they are imported to simTree. A typical installation, well, there is no installation apart from maybe from the integration tool. So the only thing that needs to be set up is a new customer in our system, and then you will get the link from an automated email. Then the first steps, you can follow the user guide, but normally you need to add a contact center. And when you have a contact center, you can import employees just by clicking here and dragging or choose a file with your employees. And here you can see information what fields are needed for the employee information. So other than that, it's not so much more to do. In the task types, you set up the default is operator, but you would normally have a supervisor, dispatch, or admin, or a meeting, or that kind of thing. And breaks, different type of absences, and some settings for the adherence. In the work rule section, you can define your break settings. So in this case, we have one setting for shifts between 4:30 and 7 hours long, and another setting for the longer shifts. If you expand here, you can see we have one short break and one lunch break for the shorter shift, and we have 3 breaks for the longer shift like that. Also, you can add tags here, so you can mark a setting with a tag, and then only employees with that tag will have that setting. In the employee app, you have a lot of settings as well. So you could either say that you publish new schedule each Sunday, 21 days ahead, or you can set the fixed date for publication. So then the agent will only see the schedule to that date. And you can disable the team schedule. You can show only one team, and you can disable trades. You can disable all requests, disable sickness or sick requests. You can't disable sickness, I'm afraid. Yeah, as said, we try to make things simple, and I think it's fairly straightforward to get started with simTree.
Oh, wonderful. Again, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and type them in the Q&A section. And other than that, I think this has been a pretty thorough overview of the platform, Hans. Thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to add before we close?
I might add that we have a fairly open license policy. So we only have our customer commit for the license 1 month at a time. So any customer is free to quit at any time. So you don't have to pay for any setup or anything like that. It's just the license running on.
Okay, good to know. And anyone who has been in the industry for a while knows Hans has been working with WFM and with telefinancing services for a long, long time. So he's very experienced, very seasoned, and his team is as well. And so this is just an exciting jump forward for everyone, especially the mobile app where the agents are able to go in and see their schedule, trade schedules, et cetera. And this is a very, very powerful app. I'm so excited that Hans, you were able to join us today and show us this. And I'll go ahead and share my screen if there's nothing else. And as we close out, and let's see here. So if you have any questions, first of all, thank you for joining us, everyone, and thank you especially Hans for joining us. And if you have any questions, Hans's information is here. Hans Wilhelmsson at deepnumbers.se, and this is the website, simWFM.se. And of course, I can answer questions as well. Steve Newell at cloudconsult.cloud, and that's my website as well. I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Atlanta, so it may be easier to get a hold of me sometimes, but reach out to either one of us to set up a more personalized demo and go through your particular sites and ask your particular questions. But I know Hans is very happy to do that as well, but this will give you a good overview of the simTree system and how powerful it is. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you especially Hans for joining us. And
Thank you.
Yes, and I'll go ahead and get this recording. I'll send it out tomorrow morning to everyone who is able to make it, and of course everyone who wasn't able to make it will get it as well. But you'll have this recording in case you want to share it with other people on your at your site. And again, reach out to either Hans or myself for a more personalized demo if you like. Thank you again so much for joining us, everyone, and we will see you soon.